And hello, everyone, and welcome to the After Show Afterthoughts. I have Celeste Bedford Walker and Philip KAPLAN. Uh, Bathsheba could not make it with us tonight, but she's in our thoughts. We ended our hour-long radio program, the podcast, talking about research and the research that you do. And Celeste, you said, I just want you to repeat it for those people who are probably going to listen to this and then go hear that, and it'll be at the end. But talk about your fertilization, what you think about when you say how you fertilize it. Say, what is it that you're saying again?
Well, what I said was when you asked about, how much research do
Mhm.
I do? I said, yes, I do. I do quite a bit of research. I love research, especially with the historical plays, and not just the historical plays, with any play you do, unless it's very personal or you're just totally going in with your imagination, like I did earlier when I first started doing my plays, when I first started doing comedies. I it was just imagination, imagining what would happen in this situation and what would happen in that situation. But when I started doing other plays, as I said, especially plays with history in it, I had to do quite a bit of research, books, libraries initially, and then internet and oral history. And I just love research, just get carried away, as I said. Sometimes I start going down rabbit holes, like when this is over, I'm going to look up John Wilkes Booth and where he was buried. I mean, it's just so, just so interesting.
So you
So
put
you
that
keep running
information.
across little tidbits that are so interesting, and you think, well, how can I incorporate that into the play somehow? And finally, it gets to a point where I call all of that research fertilizer. You just keep throwing fertilizer on the project, throwing fertilizer on the project. And then finally, the time comes when you have to stop fertilizing and you have to actually get to work.
Yes.
So,
Well, and Philip, your methodology is a bit different, is it not?
Yes. Well, again, most of the time I am doing things in maybe inspired by something where I don't have to accurately portray something. What I have to do is sort of imagine what would happen. And in some cases I do. I mean, I'm lying. I do a little research.
I know you do. I know you do with the subjects that you had to deal with. It
Yeah.
tells. You tell it in the dialogue reflects it. Everything. Yes, absolutely.
But so fortunately, a lot of the playwriting thing is imagining what somebody would go through in that situation and putting yourself in this thing. Now, there was one play, I've actually written two plays about Alzheimer's, and unfortunately, I didn't have to research that much so much as I lived it. In terms, my mother had Alzheimer's, and I was able to kind of watch through these things. And then
Yes.
someone else actually asked me to write a play about her mother. So I did a little, but essentially that was lived experience, and that was something.
Yeah. What there are so many circumstances that under which plays are written, and as a person who gets the plays after you all write them, whether it's as a director or as a performer, I was always curious about that journey that you had, the journey that you all take before it gets to somebody like me, you know, and respecting the journey that it takes. Sometimes you read a line and you go, now how did they think about saying that? And it's just the right line, you know. It's just the right line that you want to say at that very moment. Uh, it it's inspirational, I think, and I think it's informative that people in our business understand the journey that productions take to get to a certain point, to get to the reading, to get to the workshop, to get to the showcase, to get to the production, to get to the long run. It's long, and the percentage of all of that, is very difficult. But I'm not going to hold you all long. But the other situation, the thing that I'm curious about is, I know, Philip, that you joined an organization that said it was featuring on a certain kind of thing. Why did you, was it when you joined the organization, what did you call it now? You said you didn't know if it was still in existence.
Okay, so this was called Code Red. It
Code
was
Red. Yes.
so it was I know I actually I can't remember. I think a friend of mine was in it, and they just put out a call for plays, and I was like, okay, I'll write a play about against gun violence. I mean, that's I will see what I'm always looking for an excuse to write something. So give me a subject. So that's essentially how that one started. They published an anthology of plays. Each it was like I think 5-minute plays, and each one was around a particular mass shooting. There's one volume just about school shootings. It is really pathetic that you can compartmentalize this so much. It's sort of like, and in terms of topicality, it doesn't date. It's like writing a Christmas song. It's like you write about gun violence, and it's just okay. Wait, like what's Tuesday? Oh, here's another one. So it's
unfortunately, yes, that is the truth. And it's almost like numbing, it's numbing. You hear about it and you go, oh, well, where was that? And many times, like you said, well, somebody did something. So the one that I do remember is Oklahoma City. I think that was because it was one of the first ones. My mother was still alive then. And my mother turned to me and she said, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing I've ever heard of. The babies died in the daycare center, the innocent people, and all of that. And, now I think years and years, decades later, Mommy's been gone for a long while. Would she be interested to know that we've not made any progress other than doing more and more and more of them? And in the same vein, when you talk about the plays that you write, Celeste, like with Nini and the progress that we don't have with mental health, and that was about mental health and not understanding, what that a person is. They may be physically, what can I say, aggressive to you, but understanding that it's not the ultimate solution is not taking their life. Is that there is an intermediary there, that there is something that needs to happen and needs to understand that this is a training that we need to have to calm this person down. And we haven't made a lot of progress in that either.
No.
Over the years, we have not understood mental health, not at all. We have not understood disabilities at all. I fight for it every single day. EDIA, I fight for the rights of those people who have disabilities and who are held in disdain by people because of it. We have not made a lot of progress, and in some of those things, and then we have made in some things. Just like in racism, we've not made some progress, but we've made in other sections, some of it in all kinds of racism. We are now in the middle of different wars all over the world that are fighting genocide. And then, and what is different from 1940s and now. So we've come all the way full circle of thinking is back here again, or has it ever gone away? I don't know. And maybe that's something we have to explore in the arts. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Well, I've done my rant for the night. I thank you all for joining me. I thank you for that hour. I encourage those of you who have looked at this small segment to go and listen to where we talked about the arts and how they are interpreted through the current events, how current events are interpreted in the arts. I think it's an interesting endeavor of information. And again, I hope to see you all soon. I will schedule another one of my Lynnie Godfrey Straight No Chaser episodes, and you will see that. Right now we are in a lot of chaos with strikes and everything else. So I don't want to schedule things and have to reschedule them. So I will let you all know when the next episode comes about. You just look out for it. Thank you very much, Celeste. Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you so much for joining me and making this happen, because you all said yes. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right. And with that, you stay on for 1 second. But with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for the after show afterthoughts. And I'll see you on the radio. Lynnie Godfrey. Bye now.